Oh, yeah.
All right.
Mercy, Daddy. We're live from SDS Studios in Jonesboro, Arkansas. That was my buddies at P3 Radio doing that theme song. And we said RynoJB, but on, I guess, the right of me? Yeah, the right of me. The one that started it all. Me.
Yes.
The BTs are back together, baby. The boys are back. Yes. It's Rhino BT. How's it going, Brian Thompson?
I'm today known as Rhino BT, the other BT in the world of BTs, I suppose. Brian Thompson here with you. So appreciate you allowing me to come on the show this week and be a part of it with you, man. It's like old times. It's like deja. We just keep spinning our wheels, man. Come back around to it.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Also, we both grew up huge Memphis wrestling fans, so it's and we as soon as this show came on, we were both, what's it going to look like? What are they going to do? And then we analyzed it, sending messages back and forth to Messenger. And I'm like, if Rhino's actually at Mania, we'll probably have some stuff with him. He's at Mania, so we may see him on the show. So he could not make it today. We tried, but we couldn't make it. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that we had WTF this past Wednesday. We have the Record Store on Monday, has nothing to do with wrestling, and our 5th annual on Tuesday, 10-10-10 Mania show, Cool Kids Countdown, by Wednesday at midnight. All right, Brian, this is your first time, so roundtable format. We'll go with hits, misses, MVP next week, thumbs up and thumbs down. So we're going to get started.
All right.
What is your hits for this week?
I'm a rookie at this, so please bear with me. I'm a little rusty. I haven't been on any kind of wrestling program in a long time, so we'll see how I do. I'll get graded later, I guess. But I look at it from a promoter's standpoint. What would I do if I were producing a show, and look at it from that perspective as well. So I do like that they opened hot with some highlights from last week. Obviously, the Austin Lane, Derek King situation. I think if you missed it, you got caught up on it really quickly. Started out with a little bit of heat right there. Internally, here's one of the boys and the talents that has worked in that area in the independents for many years. It was good to see Paris Kelly get some television time. I've worked with her on different shows in the past, and it looks like also a good continued push for Cassandra Golden. I think there's some money there with that young lady. So glad to see that. T-Bone's doing a good job on the interviews and that sort of thing, and that's not an easy thing to do. Sometimes guys that are good at it make it look a lot easier than it is, so that's another hit for me. Internally, of course, obviously this is somebody in the wrestling business looking at it from that angle, and having known Derek King and Dustin Starr when they were on commentary, some inside banter. There was a comment during the Bam Bam Malone match about not calling a grown man delicious. So and you would have to know some gimmicks and things of the past with those two guys. We know what they're talking about, but I won't go into detail. And then as far as my final hit of this particular week, I would say they left with some good heat with a 2-on-1 attack. They're continuing to build that angle. Had that not happened, I might not have felt like that was a hit, but I like the way that they picked things up there at the end after the main event was what it was, kind of an introductory match for a guy, and then left with some heat with the 2-on-1 attack, the continued angle with Bret Michaels and Alan Still and so forth. So that's my quick hits of this particular week.
All right. So I will go with the DK interview and Austin Lane promo.
Yes, sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
I apologize. I missed that one as well. I like that interview. I'm sorry I did miss that.
Austin and DK they're used to doing this. They worked each other before. It should be really good. Brian, I can officially say I've been on Memphis wrestling, so it's got to be a hit. But I didn't even get to talk. But
they want to save it for this. They want to make sure people tune in.
I loved it when the towels went down. I love the towels going down, and I'm like you. I love this storyline with Alan Steele, Johnny Dotson, and them getting a beat down again with Bret Michaels. Absolutely love it. All right, tell me the misses.
So kind of back to one thing that was a hit and miss, and maybe I missed it. Of course, I was rewinding, making sure I was double checking some things, but there was no buffer between Derek and Austin, correct? I mean, they just kind of got up in each other's face. There was nobody interviewing Derek it wasn't a T-Bone interview. It was just
I cannot remember.
I see. I it's kind of one of those things. I'm on the spot, but I think a buffer. So if you put your hands on my wife, I don't know that I would be calm enough to even talk smack to you. I'd want to go at you. So I just think that might have been a small little detail that could have kind of provided a buffer. Maybe if you had T-Bone doing the interview, and then so the angry side wouldn't come in, would have a little bit of a buffer to keep from just going right into strangling the guy. So I understand that, but I get that they probably looked at it as Austin was trying to present himself as in the backstage capacity and not, try to keep that angle, that approach to it. So I'll give it a pass there, but that would be one little small, minute detail I would add there. Cosmetically, with the entrance, a lot of times when you see guys coming out, you can see people in the back. I think if they, for future tapings, maybe try to, work on some of that piece. So if somebody comes to the ring, you don't see other people in the background. You provide somewhat of an additional buffer there. That's just a cosmetic thing. Again, I like, and I'll butcher his name, the Russian Mela. Yeah, you do that part, the pronunciation.
No. Let's call him the Russian. There we go.
Russian, Meklanov. Yeah. However, I'll butcher that if I had to ring announce him. But I saw more. I want to kind of do a 2-for-1 here. Saw a little more aggression from him. I'd like to see a little bit more aggression from him, and maybe a little more of a growl. That's kind of one of those. That type of gimmick, I guess, so to speak. But I will say this from past matches and stuff, just from this program, I did see improvement there. I was slightly a good debut for Jace Osei, if I'm
Jace Osei. Yeah, we got that one right.
That I guess I'm a little old school. I would kind of like to see him against a grizzled veteran and dominate the grizzled veteran for an introductory first-time match. So I don't know who that would be, even if you went and pulled somebody, a guy that's been around a while that has had a solid career and would come in for a one-time, off thing or whatever. It was a little bit of a comedy for a main event and for an introductory match. Had they not ended up with heat, I might have been a little more aggressive on this main event, but since they had some heat to follow the main event. But, when I see main event, I kind of want to see a couple of stars, even if it's early on in establishing them, go at it. I get the idea. Again, it's easy to be armchair booker. Let me throw that out there. So I don't want to come off as, nitpicking.
No, we just say we are nitpicking, and I've done that too. I said I've been really, really picky on some stuff, and that's what we want to see. We want to see something that Go ahead,
I just like to see that guy and Precious is a gimmick, and he works at what it is well. Even it may or may not be my cup of tea type of gimmick, but he works it very well for what he has or what it's supposed to be. So he does a good job there. For a guy like that you're bringing in with that MMA background and looking like he could just kill us all, for lack of a better terminology. I'd like to see the competition be somebody like a grizzled veteran or something that you could throw in there with him and let him kind of get a dominating victory of sorts and be like, holy cow, this guy's going to set the tone now that he's here. He just beat a well-respected 5-time regional champion or whatever the guy might be.
Right.
That's kind of where I'm tracking, man. Just little things, man. I mean, it's like I said, it's easy to play armchair booker here. And, if I had an unlimited checkbook, I'd do things this, that, and the other way. But, again, not having been on this show, and now we're up to 7 weeks of this, again, I tip my hat to Dustin Starr and what he's doing and trying to accomplish. It takes a lot of nerve and guts. He's done a lot of good things along the way, building up until this point to have an actual local Memphis show. So I tip my hat to him being a promoter. I've done it a handful of times. It can be a stressful situation. I look back on things and, if I had an unlimited budget, I could have done this production piece, or I would have thrown some video package here. But again, you are on a budget, so keep that in mind. But that's what I have, man.
All right. My missus, the wrestling was just not as good this week. It really wasn't, except for the 8-man tag, which had one of my favorite teams, the Russells. They had 2 of the kids in there. Had a posse. I like posse comedy.
Yeah.
I thought overall the matches, the girl match, Bam Bam and Precious. I just thought Super Ed. I don't know if Super Ed's going to be something that that goes over in a PC community, a world now, a PC world. I just thought the wrestling, it's like last week it was 6 matches and everything seemed to flow a lot better. And then everything was slow or didn't flow this week. I love Precious. I think he's hilarious, but I think we had a little bit too much of him. I want more of Alan Steele and Johnny Dodson.
Right.
A little bit too much of Precious this week. All right, MVP. Give out your MVP or your MVPs.
Ooh. That one's a good one. I'd say MVPs obviously would be Austin and DK and continuing that. And Austin brought it with his promo. You could tell, my only thing was I'd like that buffer just because I want to, I'd want to see you strangle the guy or punch the guy or something fresh off touching my wife. So maybe if you provided that buffer to where like, okay, here's an official with a company, I can't do that or I'm going to get fired, a little bit of a buffer there. But if
there's no buffer, you're going to punch him because he just put his hands again. You're going to punch him again.
Yeah.
That.
Even if it's the guy, the delicious guy steps in between them or something, to provide some buffer. But an announcer would be easier because then you wouldn't hit the announcer because you respect him. You never hit Lance Russell, even if he's standing between you. You know what I mean? So going back old school there. So that'd be my MVP. And Alan, I mean, I love, I've been an Alan Steele fan for 20 years. So, anything he does, and I like this new approach. It's a perfect timing for him to be just kind of an assassin. And with Johnny Dodson as well, there's another great veteran. So what they're doing, I think, is great. And it's a good story there. So, and Jace Osei, he looks like $1 million. So, look out! I'd like to see him get more of a commanding win over more of a standard wrestler versus a gimmick first night out. But it is what it is, and so
the guy's got star written all over him. So MVP, real quick, I'd say DK and Austin, and also Alan Steele and Johnny Dodson, pretty much the same thing you said. Those guys, and they are, if you can tell, they're also the upper tier of the talent. So you got 2 guys that we got 3 of the 4 guys, Memphis wrestling legends. I call them legends. They were in the second tier of what, either Corey Macklin, Memphis Wrestling, or Power Pro. They weren't in the original. Austin's never been on TV, but I think Dustin did a fantastic job telling us that's Nikki Lane's wife. He is the best of best in this area. He's a veteran. He's been around. And I like Austin saying, I could settle with being backstage, but you put your hand on my wife. It made me, I'm coming back, best of the best, blah, blah, blah. Here's the thing. In a mixed tag, they can kind of do smoke and mirrors with that. But if Derek and Austin ever step in the ring against each other, we expect a really, really good match, or I'm going to be disappointed. I'm just going to say that. So, All right, Brian, real quick, we're going to run some commercials. We got stuff going on tonight,
all right,
all over the place. So here's a all right. How about that belt, man? I love that belt. I love it.
And that is kind of, I'd have to go back and rewatch, but I mean, coming up on that, maybe a little more focus on that Grind City Rumble, knowing that the champion is going to be crowned this, in a matter of hours. So that might have been something that, hindsight, little detail.
You know why? Because here's the deal. It's sold out. There's no tickets. The only tickets they have, they're giving away. So
I get that. But, but giving everybody a purpose, to be, especially, on the road, you got to have, a purpose for this coming television taping, just another way to push it.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what they do. And me, I'm not a battle royal guy, so not even a Rumble guy. So, all right, what do you look forward to on next week's show?
The continuation of the hot angles. I'm a heat guy when it comes to wrestling, and the thing I like to see is start out with some heat, start out with something hot and heavy, whether it's an angle that goes on to kick the show off, or following up from a prior week's, with last week, what happened here on the program. So, more of those 2 angles that really, I'd call them the 2 heat angles, where you have, a man that has had his wife offended or touched or whatever by somebody else put their hands on them. So obviously there's some heat building there. And then of course the Alan Steele and Johnny Dodson and Brett Michaels and that whole situation. So, just seeing where it goes from here, what's next in in those conversations. So
this doesn't surprise me. Almost every answer is the same for me and you. It does surprise me, but I'm looking forward to the angles, guys. I'm looking forward to more Steele and Dotson. What are they going to do? Are we going to have anybody save Bret Michaels? Is he going to get any help? And Derek and Lane in a mixed tag match. Derek and Austin Lane in a match. Just say that, and I'll watch TV. I mean, that's how good these two guys against each other and how good they are in the ring. So I'm excited about seeing all this. How about it? Come on, Brian. You got to tell me, thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up, leaning maybe toward thumbs in the middle, Is middle in the option?
Yeah, middle's option.
Sure, there's no perfect whatever, but I'll give it a thumbs up. As far as what I look for, again, the heat on the front end, the heat on the back end, and then did you build to something? And in this case, yes, there's build to angles. So using that as my, and I know you talked about the matches. I don't always get as stuck on match quality. Now, granted, maybe they could have pulled one from this week, stuck it into a prior week, and had more of a impact match somewhere. Maybe the main event would have made sense for that. But I'm more of a story guy, storytelling. Talk me into the building. Do we? You won't remember a big chunk of the moves from matches, but you remember Hogan and Andre and Dusty and Flair. They always talked you in to the building to get to those marquee moments. So anyway, yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up. Let me just stick with that.
And here I mentioned this. I believe it was last week, and I'm going to go thumbs in the middle, kind of. It could have almost been a thumbs down because I didn't enjoy most of the wrestling, and except for I did like the 8-man tag, but I complained about this either last week or the week before, but except for the 8-man tag, I knew who was going to win every match. So that's kind of like the old Memphis format where you're putting over the top guys, but
right.
It's not the format we get now where putting the main event matches on TV kind of thing. But I don't know, man. I just didn't feel like it was wrestling-wise it was as good as the other 6 shows. We'll see. We'll see as it gets better. There is one more show on this tapings, and the tapings that happen this Sunday, which is tomorrow, sold out, by the way. That will start in 2 weeks, so we'll be interested to see what goes on. They also got a new building, and, since I got the inside.
Wait a minute.
Oh, man.
You always know the scoops, man, the dirt.
Man, they got – I don't know exactly but let me just say this. Dustin said this on Facebook. There is going to be a desk, y'all. They're going to the desk to do the interviews, just like old school Memphis wrestling. And he's got a lot of stuff planned, so I'm excited. He doesn't tell me anything about storylines because I don't want to hear them.
Right.
But when it comes to production of the show, it should be really nice. We got Jarrett coming in, one of the legends of Memphis wrestling, so it should be pretty exciting. All right, guys. Brian, same bad time, same bad channel. On the Best of the Wrestling Podcast in the business. Be there. And Brian, you know this, and everyone else knows this. I love my mama.
His mama, daddy. Woo!